I think we were somewhat reverent about the comics, in that we had, the comic balloons, Splat, Baroom, Zap, and so on. And we had those primary colors all the time, and the lens cocked. For example, you'd see a bad guy, and the lens would be like this because, after all, he was crooked, that kind of thing. And we developed a kind of rhythm, cadence of speech, and so on, that I felt was, well, it seemed appropriate, and it caught on. The show differed from the comic books in that we had more irony, I think more subtle reference points comedically. Um, and we were possibly more bizarre than the comics, certainly because the people were there right in your face on the screen, and they had more dimension than the magazines. Um, we played it for laughs, but in order to play it for laughs, one had to never think that you're funny. You just had to pull on that cowl and believe that nobody would recognize you. And I got to the point where I'd pull on the cowl that would trigger the whole character. And I think my approach was very childlike with it, uh, to get to the point that when playing Batman, it was like when you were a kid again, playing Batman. Only now there were those sometimes subtle references and in jokes and ironies. When reading the script, it was easy to see or realize that it had to be played, uh, as you put it, with earnestness, with sincerity, but with a layer of sincerity that's bigger than life. Uh, Batman could never be subtle. And my Batman at least, I don't know, must always believe that nobody could recognize him, even though his voice was the same, and so on. And I played Batman. You remember Basil Rathbone in the movies? I thought his Sherlock Holmes was wonderful because I use that as a reference a little bit, because he was always musing, pacing, musing, and suddenly getting ideas that were so important. And that's the way it was with Batman. And if they were running into, for example, a Mexican restaurant, and Robin said, "Holy guacamole, Batman." You see, this is not serious, but it has to be played seriously. If Batman and Robin are chasing a criminal, and they run out of a building, and they start to run across the street, and Batman says, "No, Robin, you must look left, right, look left again, and then go after the criminal." Or you have to put a quarter in the meter. But these were homilies, these were moral tales. They were lessons for kids because they accepted that literally. And as adults, you could laugh your head off. What are these idiots doing?